It's Bullseye. I'm Jesse Thorn. This week, we're giving you a taste of our sister show, Heat Rocks. It's a podcast we make here at Max Fun. Every week, writer Oliver Wang and music supervisor Morgan Rhodes talk to a guest about the album that made them who they are, an album that they think is a true classic. And next up is Meshell Ndegeocello. Meshell is a songwriter, a singer, occasionally a rapper, and an incredibly virtuosic bass player, one of the greatest in the world. She broke through in the 1990s as a signee to Madonna's Maverick Records label. She was a huge player in the soul and dance scene, and still is. She's also a very accomplished jazz player. And if you aren't familiar with her by name, you almost certainly heard her duet back in the 90s with John Mellencamp, a cover of Van Morrison's Wild Night.
And everything is so complete when you're walking out on the street, and the wind that catches your feet and says you fly.
Meshell's a prolific recording artist. She just dropped her 12th album this past April. It's called Ventriloquism. It's a collection of covers. It's out now on the indie label Naive. When Morgan and Oliver asked her for her heat rock, she picked a stone-cold classic, Purple Rain by Prince.
Purple rain, purple rain. Purple rain, purple rain. Purple rain, purple.
Meshell, welcome to Heat Rocks.
Oh, thanks. That's amazing.
So, what was your introduction to Prince? Let's start there.
Yeah, I had a feeling when I chose this recording that I would have to have a lot of backstory. Prince is the reason I wanted to be a musician. I remember hearing the For You recording. One of my mother's good friend's daughters, who is at least 10 to 12 years older than me, played it for me, and it was like nothing I'd ever heard in my life. I'm a teenager when Purple Rain comes out.
Yeah.
It was something I went to by myself, and the visual element definitely embedded itself, but it was the going home at night and playing that record over and over again, all the different styles that were incorporated in the soundtrack, and also the story. I guess I had a similar sort of upbringing that had a lot of upheaval. So it just spoke to me. It made me not feel so alone, and I'm sure that's what made it so important to me, or a life changer. But in hindsight, I see it's quite misogynistic. But at that moment, at that moment in time, you know, this beautiful androgynous young man who played the guitar riding around on his purple motorcycle.
Yeah.
It was my James Dean moment, so to speak.
Along those lines, were you introduced to the film first or the soundtrack first?
Well, where I lived, I could walk down this large hill. It's like a 40-minute walk, and there was this huge movie theater where it was playing. And within that same tiny mall was a Kemp Mill Records. So I literally went to see the movie, and then after the movie, walked to the record store and walked all the way home. Went to my basement and played the record. But I guess the movie, I remember sitting very close. It was large. And it was both a dreamy film idol experience, rock hero.
Yeah.
My heart beating fast, just thinking about it now. There was nothing like that. But also seeing him walk through the streets like a normal person also was intriguing because he was so outer worldly.
Yeah.
You know, I have a lot of religious rhetoric, but it was like watching the Messiah, like the person you dream about and who's going to change the world for you. I know it sounds fanatical, but that's the kind of Prince person I was. I was that person.
Yeah.
My experience with Purple Rain was myself and a bunch of other students went to go see it, and we actually saw it in Berkeley. I was in a summer bridge program, actually, and so we all pulled our money together to go see it. And I just remember being so mesmerized. When we came out, we decided we were going to put together a dance routine to When Doves Cry. And one of my friends was like, I'm going to pop lock. I went back and watched the film in prep for the chat. And so I guess as a youth seeing it, I missed so many things that sort of gave me pause last night. I was like, did Morris Day just throw somebody in the dumpster?
He did.
And
I don't mean to interrupt, but yeah,
no,
he did.
I just was like, wait, wow. And then the whole I think just being younger, when I first saw it, I was like, damn, Apollonia's fine. And I think that's where it started and stopped for me. Watching the film again, I was like, is he really teasing her with his motorcycle? Is he making her? So there were some things that were problematic, as was a little bit of the acting. But that, for me, sealed Prince's larger than life. He became a rock star to me on that album.
But as you see, though, it's funny. I mean, only in my mind now, I do see them as two separate pieces of work.
Yeah.
Because then if I just talk about the record, I'm just like, let's go with Doves Cry. It doesn't have a bass line. That's groundbreaking.
Yeah.
For black music at that time.
Why do we scream at each other? This is what it sounds like when doves cry.
It's like if I listen to it just as music, it's funny. But yeah, watching it made me. I cringe. It's cringeworthy. There are a few things in there are cringeworthy.
Yeah.
Not just because now this topic about misogyny is apparent, but also there's the scene where he's with his father, and his father's going through all the music, and he has all these creations, yet he's a broken person. Really struck me. Like, my father's a musician, and I think he had a lot of dreams and plans that didn't come to fruition.
Yeah. Yeah.
And through me, I think he saw what he couldn't, something he missed out in life.
Yeah.
And so that really hit me when I watched it.
What did you like about Purple Rain? What spoke to you when you heard it?
The deconstruction of When Doves Cry, the no bass, was fascinating to me. I thought that was mind-blowing. I Would Die For You was, I think I drove my family crazy. I would just play that one over and over again. The hi-hat pattern, the way he hits accents within it. The chords were very like Sunday school Christian harmony to me. Dang, dang, bang, yeah. Just it uplifted me.
Because you are such a Prince fan, were there songs that had fallen out of his live performance catalog that despite understanding and being sympathetic, that you were genuinely disappointed that he wasn't going to perform anymore?
Oh, he never disappointed me.
Okay.
Not one moment. There's no live show I've ever seen of his where I ever felt a tinge of disappointment. I rarely have disappointed. And I love even seeing musicians falter. Because at least I just know, like,
it's not easy.
Yeah, and we live in a world now where it's not a criticism. It's not good or bad, because I'm really trying to be weary of that as well. But I know there are shows that are touring now. A lot of the things are on tracks because people want to have a show, and I'm learning that having a show is very different than being a musician.
Yeah.
And I think even Prince struggled with that because he's the consummate musician, and he did all that live without all that. And I was on Warner's, the same label as him, and I would ask a lot of those guys stories about him. Prince seemed to really struggle with hip hop and the sampling.
Yeah.
Just because he worked so hard.
Right.
And so that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm never disappointed. He's been a mentor to me in the sense of like, never, can't be disappointed. Everyone here is just trying to express themselves. And it may be different, and you may not like it, but there's, you can't question anyone's sincerity. And so that's what I try not to do. And I must admit, there was the Staples Center show where he decided to play like Raspberry Beret and a lot of the older stuff, just him and the guitar. And I was brought to tears. And there was all the other stuff, which was the great show. Right. But the when he just sat down to play the instrument, which I think is going to happen to a lot of people. And then in my dreams and my dystopic fantasies, eventually there'll be no electricity. And we're really going to look to those people who can just pick up a guitar and some bongos and move your heart. And so,
I saw him at the Forum. At the time, the church that I was going to owned the Forum, and we were under contract to honor the shows that had been there. Prince's tour was the last show that we did. The pastor told after Prince passed that Prince was like, I want to meet the people that own the Forum. This is a church I want to meet them. The pastor's nervous. He's telling us, he's like, I'm in there nervous. I'm trying to be about my business and sound very whatever. He says, I'm thinking Prince is going to keep me waiting because all these, rumors about his attitude and stuff. And he goes, I just hear heels clicking down the hall. He's like, I'm at this beautiful house. And he says, we had a 2-hour conversation about God. Our conversation about God was so long, I didn't think we were going to get the contract because I was like, does he just want to talk about it? I remember being at that show, and Prince's managers and stuff were mad at him because he decided to sell all the tickets for $20, and they were pissed. But he wanted everybody to be able to come. He had played so many songs that I just was so delirious with hits, and at the moment I was thinking, what else can he play? He did an encore, and he said, don't play with me, LA. I have too many hits. And then he did like 15 more hits. And so to echo your point, I was never disappointed either. Every concert that I went to of Prince's, the ticket said, please wear purple. And I wore purple down. I was clean as the Board of Health at those concerts, right? Dressed purple down. But it was a community of old and young, men and women, straight and gay, all looking at this genius in front of us. It was years before we knew we were going to lose him. And it was a moment that I thought, I don't think there is one album that I can claim I got to know Prince. I got to know Prince over his entire career. Although some people would argue that Purple Rain is the most personal album because we see more of himself. I think Prince slipped himself in many different places. One of the songs that doesn't get mentioned a lot on this album, and I don't know why because it's a jam, okay, it is a heat rock, is Computer Blue.
You're right.
Where's My Love Life? I mean, the way...
You're right. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
And then I guess at the 2-minute mark, he just does a change up on me where I just wasn't expecting it to go in that direction. That's it right there. That is a jam.
Section.
And in the movie, everyone starts dancing on the one. Everyone's going side to side. That's just a...
And it's instrumental. I like that it had a lot of instrumental things going on.
Do you have a fire track off this LP?
No, I gotta say, I Would Die For You. I mean, I'm sorry it's lame, but that is my one.
What is it about it?
Just the way it makes me feel. And I I've been listening to this conversation. I guess I shouldn't be afraid. I'm a believer. I believe there's something I cannot see that is greater than myself. And there's something in there. And eventually he tells us that's what it was, what he was writing about. But I feel that from the beginning, from the first time I ever heard it. From the beginning to the end of that song, it's just like he is trying to me, I feel like he's just trying to remind me, like, there's something bigger than you, and that life is about sacrifice. Not necessarily like these mythical, like the blood of the lamb or even the Jesus thing, but like you must sacrifice something, and to know a love like that is just beyond your conception. But I'm trying to help you feel that audibly, sonically. I want you to know that about life. You know? I
think the kind of conventional holy triumvirate of American artists, and it is very male, so I'm very self-aware of that right now, is Michael, Stevie, and Prince.
Yep.
I'm just wondering for you, not that there's an equivalent to Prince, but who else would you put in a camp in terms of people who have shifted music in whatever monumental level that you consider? Like, who else is there anyone that would even come close to that in that conversation?
Oh, D'Angelo definitely shifted. Oh my God, we've been chasing R&B for his first recording for a very long time. Jay Dilla shifted music, completely shifted music. I mean, to me, Stevie Wonder's in a class by himself, and that's just a conversation we don't need to have. I'm like, don't ever talk about him. I need people not to talk about him.
Right.
Because you can't.
Right.
You're not prepared for that conversation. There's several artists I feel in terms of a killer singer who I feel like she has achieved that as a singer. I think people would disagree material-wise. Is Alice Smith is one of the most singing cats out here. I'd say something. and I have these two categories. I was like, she can sing without a microphone. There are very few people that can sing without a microphone. Like you could put her in a room and she could sing out with no microphone and change the energy of the room.
Always emotional, but still exceptional love. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Said it is what it is.
And that's a gift. So I'd put her in there like definitely a game changer. But it's all different. Like then there's the writers. There's like that woman who sings for Little Dragon. To me, she carries that
Yukimi
line.
Nagano.
Yeah, of the Prince, the purity of the instrument. I think she has that as well. I mean, Flying Lotus, that has changed so many things in the music game. In terms of like, you mean like just a phenomenon, and so I would add them. Okay. But that's how I believe. I think I'm like, will there ever be a Michael Jackson and Prince? We got a different thing. We're no longer searching for that type of messiah, that type of iconic singer. I mean, we have Beyonce, and then some people have Taylor Swift. We have that, but it's different. It's not like that anymore. To me, I don't feel that.
If I can come back to the song Purple Rain, that first time that you sat down, you had your record in the basement listening to it, what did you think of the song? Or what do you think about it now?
I had the
even
movie.
too?
I just was like, he wanted to do his thing, and he was sad, and you lose people, and people, you don't have love, you can't trust people.
We ask our guests. This is a tough one too. I wouldn't want to answer this myself. Should I ask it? But we ask our guests to describe the album that they chose in 3 words. And if you had to describe Purple Rain in 3 words, what would they be?
This man's best.
I'm getting a little sad because that hit me. It made me think of that we don't have him anymore.
Yep.
My favorite album is always going to be Around the World in a Day. But when I listened to Purple Rain this morning and on the way over here, I thought, maybe I got to rethink that because this one hit me in a different way than Around the World in a Day. Around the World in a Day is complicated.
Yeah, but it's genius.
It is genius. But this one to me goes straight to the heart of Prince or the Kid, whichever. I think that there were parts of the Kid and Prince that were completely... And it's such a, the end of it is such a triumph for Wendy and Lisa, who throughout the movie are saying, please listen to this record, please play this record. Yeah. And it ends so well.
Yeah. I mean, and the best, is subjective. But I mean, it's no way for me the thing that moves me the most. He has so many other songs. But I feel like he would even want you to know, like, this can't be beat. Right. I killed it. Yeah. Fuck, I killed it. Yeah. Say something. And the times I've met him, that was important. Look what I've done.
Unlike, I think, either of us, you've actually had the opportunity to interact with Prince. What was it like actually meeting him, and what was it from those encounters that you took away?
I think the moment I met him, I lost my ability to breathe. But then also got to see that he was just a human being.
Yeah.
And that was hard. I'm a complicated human being. And I'm also a very complicated female human being. Mm-hmm. And I think I was a female human being he hadn't really encountered often. And also, I am like that, believe it or not, even though I wear flip-flops and I'm a beachy. I am trying to be the best at everything I do. I have a very large spirit.
Yeah.
And, and if you don't know me well, that spirit can be come across aggressive.
Mm.
And so, like I said, we were two people
Yeah.
that had very big personalities. So, but, yeah, it's funny. I mean, put it this way. I wouldn't be here. He's another person. When I came to LA, I had a chance to be on his label or Warner Brothers. Having your idol listen to your music, or to have, people compare you. There is no comparison. I'm like the polish on his shoe. Like, there's no comparison. But to have that happen to you, it's life-changing. It's the thing you want from your parents, so to speak, or that you didn't have. And it just, like I said, life-changing. And also, we're in a weird time in history where we're not the dinosaurs. Like, we can see the meteor coming. And you have people like Prince, and you have all these other great human beings who have achieved so much, yet something in them. There are lessons in these people, and I hope that the people that come after them will heed those lessons, because I'm starting to.
Thank you for sharing that. I very much appreciate that.
Meshell Ndegeocello, talking with Oliver Wang and Morgan Rhodes of the Max Fun podcast Heat Rocks. Let's take a listen to a song off of Meshell's latest record, Ventriloquism. This one is a cover of the TLC classic, Waterfalls.
Has a natural obsession for temptation, but he just can't see.